Hello and welcome to this run of The Republic. It's a game that I'm very much looking forward to run by Ashton McCullen. It started as a part of a design competition, I think, where you where people exchange their drafts. So it's pretty much like it's three people who has been involved in making it among at least was William Vincent Baker and someone else. I'm not completely sure, actually. It doesn't say in the text, I think. But anyway, it's a very interesting game. It's about pretty much beating up the man. First thing we have to decide is to make our characters and our oppressive institutions. But I'm gonna do a short text blob first to explain like the premise of the game. The Republic. Your civilization is well-ordered, rational, and technology advanced, harnessing the sciences, the powers of the spirit world, and the mystical ways of element bending for the advancement of the Republic. It's a Hellenistic utopia ruled by this passionate senate of men proven wise, steady, and long-thinking, and their formal advisors, philosophers, and masters of every school. It's civic monuments, technological marvels, and cultural marvels mark it as the greatest civilization within the known world. It's also atrocious. It denies the full humanity of women and brutally suppresses them and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of foreigners and ethnic minorities and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of those who defy norms of gender and sexuality and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It denies the full humanity of the disabled and brutally suppresses and enslaves them. It affirms only the humanity of its citizens. The labor and lives of all other exist to serve only these. You are not such a person. You are forbidden from voting on the affairs of the state. You are denied full autonomy of your own body. Your voice is discredited and silenced in public. You are forbidden from learning the mystical ways of bending the elements. You have learned the mystical ways of bending the elements. Before we get into explaining the mechanics of the game and the characters, we are going to. As you see, there is definitely some tooth to this game. The X card is of course going to be present. So if you're at any time you feel that we are in a subject matter or something comes up that you don't find interesting or don't want to have in the game, feel uncomfortable with in a bad way, just excard it either by putting X in chat, X like this, or just say that you excard it. And also if there's anything that on beforehand you'd like to avoid, we can also we can take it up now, so we take a hard line on it. Is there anything that you'd? I mean, except for me, the regular ones is just like sexual assault and violence against children and animals. I don't really think that is the main. Even if it's some subject matter here that's like making women disenfranchised about owning their own power of their own body, I don't think like sexual violence is necessarily something that I want in the game. Except from that, is there anything else that any of you would like to exclude?
No, sexual assault and rape is mine as well, off the table. Yeah. And one more thing I'd like is like kind of, I'm thinking of like kind of like a Clockwork Orange type sort of thing, where you get extended periods of like intense kind of torture and things. I don't want to play through them, so that could be something that the Republic uses, but I'd like it to be off screen. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think this is there's brutality present in the society, but I don't think we need to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Sure. Then we'll keep those things out, at least on screen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a short explanation of how the games. So you were all playing. Well, you are all playing. I'm the GM. It actually has a GM role in this game. You're all playing someone who isn't a part of those in privilege in this society of one or more reasons. So it's of one, at least one of those reasons that I just read up. So either you're a woman or of ethnicity that's not either entirely or partially the place we are in, or you have the defined gender norms or sexuality norms, or you'll have a disability in some way. So, but before we go into that, I think actually we should probably talk about like what kind of setting this is, because there's, even though it is like the default is like this Hellenistic Greek setting, it doesn't have to be. Like if there's someone who has any like ideas that they find interesting that to explore like some kind of oppressive society, we can also try other things. Like I've been watching Handmaid's Tale season 2 now. It feels also it could very well fit like kind of that kind of setting, even though I don't really have any need to play that. But if there's anyone else of you that has any ideas for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because I read through the sort of text, and you could literally set it in like anything from like an ancient kind of civilization to like a far future kind of thing, couldn't you? It could really fit in any of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the idea of like you said, like a sort of almost like Handmaid's Tale kind of thing, where it's kind of a bit unspecified, but there are sort of elements of kind of futuristic things in it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Does anyone have any objections to that? To like a kind of futuristic, dystopic future, then, I guess.
And is this intended to be obviously part of our future, or sort of just have elements of the real world, but not necessarily be directly connected to the present?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, it can be anything we desire. I think. Like, so if we don't want it to be a current United States, for example, that based on that, that's totally fine. Like we can have like it be a fictional place.
Right. Yeah, I think I would prefer a fictional place, but a fictional place, but a little more futuristic than our existing society, but with most of the same structures.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I like that kind of. Yeah, maybe set. Well, I don't know, like sort of 30 years in the future, that kind of thing. So it's still recognizable with things from our world, but yeah, a fictional place.
What do you think, Lambo?
Yeah, I'm down for all that. I kind of like the idea of like this republic we're in has like control of like history and information, so we don't actually know what's happened in history, only what the republic puts out. That's that's why it feels unspecified, because you can't really trust what's out there.
Yeah, I like that. Also, as you'll see when we get into character creation, that's definitely something you can put in some of the institutions, like rewriting history or keeping it inaccessible to people. Cool. I think like we have like the broad strokes. It's like a futuristic, somehow, oppressive society, akin to like what is described in the Republic text. So there's like it's society for the few. And I think we will define it a little bit more when we also make our characters and not least the institutions. And if we need to, we'll add some small things after that. So, but the first thing you'll do is to make a character. So if you see in the character keeper, the first 2 columns here is probably pretty obvious. It's just the name of the character and their pronouns. The third one is why you are not a citizen. So pretty much like how come you're not in this privileged group? Like, are you do you have a different sexual orientation? Are you of different ethnicity or whatever? You'll feel like it will be interesting to as your for a character. And for the character's calling, that's pretty much like what their goal is. So it could be, for example, let's say make a document the real history before the Republic or something like that. For example, like related to what Leandro just said. Or build a school. I mean, something probably related to like making it better for people in different ways. And then the bonds is pretty much you'll have like a relationship to the character that is to the left of you on the table. So we don't have a table, but we'll do it. We will get to that when we get to that. I'll do it like in Apocalypse World and do bonds when we're finished with the rest. The armaments, they are pretty much just like things you have from before. So it could be, it's a pretty like general category. Like for example, equipment from when I was in the army, science equipment from when I used to be in a work in a lab before. I don't know, someone found out that I was something. So it's pretty much like you can you'll have 2 things that you can pretty much like an adventure pack where you can just expand your armaments and have an item that you'll add to a roll at any time. So any questions so far? Good. So anyone have a good idea who their character is? Like or like a vague enough idea to do start with bonds maybe, or do like a small. I think we'll do a small presentation of the characters and then do the bonds because it's easier to do to know how you can be related or know someone if you know who that person is, more or less. So I think actually before we present the characters, I'll let you do the institution as well, because they might give some more flesh to ideas about the characters. So I think I'll start with you, Stephen. If you're ready with your you look ready with your character.
All right. My institution is the gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
They're a group of people who, I mean, they literally act as guards
Mm-hmm.
at entrances, but they also have the authority to exclude non-citizens from any public space.
Okay. Yeah. So their move, they could be something like deny access to public spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and their pillar. So a pillar, that it is pretty much like a representation of that institution. It can be a building or a person or like a widespread belief or an artifact. I think like what is important about it is that it's good that it's concrete enough that you can actually tear it down, because pretty much what you're doing here is to put on something you don't like so that you can destroy it. Yeah, you're are you following what I'm trying to say? Do you understand?
Right. I'm trying to think what. Give me a second to think. You want some symbol of the gatekeepers that can be attacked.
Yeah.
Right. That's.
It could be like a leader of the gatekeepers, an important person, or it could be like an artifact, a building where they maybe even like an area that are enclosed, or I don't know. It could be a lot of things there.
Okay, I'm going to say that my twin brother is a high official in the gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make him the pillar of the institution.
Cool. Does he have a name?
Let's go Niva. And he is the local guild master.
Guildmaster. So that's pretty much it. So we have gatekeepers that deny non-citizens access to important public spaces. So you ready with an institution, Paul? Have an idea?
Yeah, I have one. I have an idea for an institution that's like it's like a wing of the sort of Republic that really aggressively censors any kind of art or kind of media. So no, no performances or sort of works of art or literature are allowed unless they go through this strict kind of censoring and like editing application process. So it's like strictly illegal to for instance set up like your own kind of like club night where you have like people singing or performing. It has to go through this application process first. And maybe there's like an arm of these people that actually enforce this, and come and break up like any kind of like unauthorized art.
Mm-hmm. You have a good name for it? I mean, I think this could be like manifest in different ways. It's like it could. I mean, we've seen like this in history. It can be of a religious purpose, or it could be like even be like a something that's really like a propaganda thing even.
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of more like that. It's like, you know, anything. So it's to make sure that like nothing kind of nothing sort of criticizes the Republic or. You know,
May I suggest truth tellers?
Yeah,
Truth tellers.
nice one.
Yeah, and they I mean, I guess they deny the freedom of what's a good way to say that? Expression.
Yeah, freedom of expression. Yeah.
What is the pillar that you want to have for that?
And so what does that mean? I don't quite get it. Like, what does a pillar mean?
So a pillar means that it's something that represents something that represents the institution in a way. So, for example, it could be like a building, a person, a widespread belief that like represents the truth tellers in a way.
Could it be like there's like a monolithic, like single kind of broadcast that happens? Like there's only one sort of media channel basically that's like plays 24 hours, and it kind of gets beamed into like everyone's kind of lives basically.
Sure. Yeah. So like national is it a television broadcast?
I think it's a bit more sort of technologically advanced than that. I think it's like, you know the way you get like if you got like a Facebook account, it kind of almost like personalizes the feed like for you.
Oh yeah.
So maybe everyone, there's this central like processing like broadcast unit where they they censor and edit like and then send out personalized like a media channel for each person. So each person's one might be slightly different as well.
Yeah, cool. Maybe we'll actually I'm just as a suggestion. Maybe we'll find a name for that thing where you get that, and that can be the institution, not the pillar.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty interesting. Like there's like you have this like I don't imagine is phones a thing here?
Yeah, I think so. One would have to sort of media communication device.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll say mandatory public broadcasts or something like that. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like having a name for this broadcast would be really useful. Like it just something like beloved friend or something that they try to establish it as part of everybody's lives. So it's got it's something that addresses you personally. It feels like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beloved friend of the Republic.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, maybe that's like the official title of it, but everyone just calls it Beloved. I quite like that. You know, like, oh, did you see Beloved like last night? Did you know?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, and maybe it's kind of like it's a device that everyone's got, and it kind of works like one of those like Amazon Alexa things.
Mhm.
So everyone calls it like, oh, Beloved. You know, it's like their personal assistant. It's like, oh, Beloved, like, you know,
Right.
what's the weather like today? Beloved, what are the news stories today? And it's all this personalized thing that's fed to them.
Oh yeah, I
Just
really
Right.
like that
censored.
actually.
Mm.
Like
Right.
you call the device the beloved.
Mm.
Right, and it hears everything around it. So whenever
Yeah.
you're doing anything rebellious, you have to illegally shut it down.
Mm.
Oof. Grim. Well, we went cyberpunk real quick there, but that sounds sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like it.
Leandro, do you have an idea for an institution?
I'm kind of stuck between two. I kind of want either some sort of official church or an official university, something that'll flood like fake information into the Republic. So like, if the truth tellers are making sure to suppress different forms of truth, the institution I'm thinking about is the one providing the replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the ones charting. They were just telling, this is the history of the Republic. This is the history of our people. This is the history of those people and what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, why not just do both? The Holy University.
The University of Light or something like that.
Oh, oof. Yeah, mixing them makes it even more grim. So
So
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
yeah, so its move will be flood the Republic with its own truth or something like that.
yeah, seems about right.
And for pillar, that's a trickier one. I kind of want a figurehead for this university.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something quite like an actual person, you know.
Yeah.
Just as like a thing to maybe help the process there. Like, what is the I'm imagining maybe that person being like having like the highest ranking position in its field. Like, what would that be? Like, is it a minister of, or is it a speaker of, or is it what would like this title be called?
Provost, apparently.
Oh, provost.
I did a bit of Googling there.
Cool.
Senior Academic Administrator of Higher Education in the US and Canada.
Cool. I like the provost.
Provost Grace. There we go.
Oh, I love it. That's a great name.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, nice. I think we have our institutions here set pretty much, and getting a better idea of what this place is like a little bit. So what we'll do now is to do the bonds. We'll do. I think we'll do to the right here on the like the sheets. So pretty much like Tessa has a bond with Sarva, and Sarva has a bond with Gorechi, and Gorechi has a bond with Tessa. Does anyone have an idea for maybe like we'll start with a small presentation of your characters, what you're thinking, who are they, and then we'll do the bonds. So does that seem like good to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to start, Leandro?
Okay. So yeah, my character's name is Tessa. Pronouns are she, her. Why not a citizen? Because she practiced a religion that was deemed contrary to the Republic's values. It's a religion that promoted fluid sexuality. I'm thinking this is some sort of religion that was passed on through like just oral traditions and whispers through her family and her connected, connected friends and whatnot, and it's passed on throughout the generations. They don't know when it was stamped out because again, the Republic controls the history.
Yeah.
So her calling is to find the truth of the world and the truth. Basically, yeah, what did happen? Why this one religion that she knows intimately, that she and her family knew intimately? Why is it? Why was it stamped out? Why? How did it become reduced to just herself and a handful of other people?
Nice. So, like, in what ways is she currently working towards that?
I'm gonna say like maybe some sort of minor clerk in some minor office that's kind of connected to any one of the institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the very small. It's a position that's almost soon to be eliminated by whatever technology the Republic's controlling.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Like, so maybe some kind of like maybe it's like an office in the university even.
Yeah, not like the main office, but like like something small like
Archive
accounting,
or something like that.
archiving. Yeah,
Mhm.
just working her way up to trying to get to archiving.
Cool. That's nice. And who's Sava?
Zarva is he was born with a birth defect. He's missing most of his right arm, and he has a twin brother named Neva, who was born physically physically perfect. So the authorities recognized pretty quickly that Neva had a talent for earth shaping, and he was taken from the family and raised to be one of the gatekeepers. So Zarva and his family are basically living in poverty while Zarva's twin brother is being coddled and raised to serve the Republic. And he was raised as Neva was raised as a fairly early age to the position of guild master, not because he's actually in charge of anything. He's basically a puppet, but he's very photogenic. So he's the public face of the gatekeepers.
Yeah, nice. Interesting. And Gorecki?
Yeah, so I'm playing Gorecki, who is a young man. I imagine him being kind of like, sort of 19, maybe just turning into 20, that kind of age. His family are recent immigrants to the Republic, so they're sort of racially different to the vast majority of the people in the Republic. They're looked down upon by the rest of society because of their race. And he personally is pansexual and non-binary, so he's sort of persecuted for his sort of non-conformist sexuality. I imagine his parents kind of like work. They're kind of in this kind of like sort of workhouse kind of thing where they're in like mandatory employment jobs. Like they work kind of like 18 hours a day, and he's basically kind of avoided this employment so far, but it's coming. It's coming. He knows that he's going to be forced into one of these like, mandatory workhouse things. But what he really does with his time, he's an artist. Sees himself as an artist. He sings. He performs. And he's part of a sort of underground like artist movement that set up all these illegal kind of shows in places, and he's like a part of that movement. And his armaments are his mother's voice. Like his mother kind of is what inspired him to sing. Like she, he has memories of her voice, like singing to him when he was a child. And he also has a mobile public address PA system that's completely illegal. But he's built it himself with his dad's help. And he sort of it's this big speaker that he can kind of strap to his back, and it can blast out kind of sort of music, and it's got a microphone connected to it, so he occasionally goes and kind of sings on street corners, busks, which is completely illegal. There you go.
Cool. What is Tessa's relation with Sava? How do they know each other? There's a question for Tessa.
I'm trying to think. Where does Zarva work again? Does Zarva work?
You're muted. Steven?
Sorry, I think Zarva is unemployed, but he does odd jobs. So officially he doesn't work and is on welfare, but he hustles.
Would there be some sort of not official through public, but some sort of public place in some of the alleys, like a soup kitchen of some sort, or?
Yeah, I mean, we could have some sort of a soup kitchen, someplace where people go to get food.
Yeah, and I think Tessa kind of works there in her spare time when she needs to, and yeah, I think maybe with Zarva no, not frequent. But I guess kind of frequent, I guess, when they need to.
Yeah, I think Zarva does go to the soup kitchen for food. It's sometimes he's able to buy food, but mostly he doesn't have a lot of money, so he mostly is using his official ration card.
And I don't have the specifics of how they'd strike up some sort of friendship there. But maybe
maybe I've helped them acquire extra food. I have some contacts.
Okay.
In warehouses. I know people who have helped steal food.
Yeah, and maybe you worked with Tessa on that.
Yeah, a guy who fixes stuff. It's connected.
Yeah. Maybe Zarva's kind of the connected one who'd be able to who moves around in the sort of criminal underworld in a way that she can.
What is Sava's relationship to Gorechi?
I think a group of citizens came down to the slums to disrupt one of Gorechi's shows. Basically, it's sort of a sport for citizens to go down to the slums and beat up people, and they disrupted one of the shows, and I helped fight them off. I was one of the group that just sort of spontaneously organized ourselves to fight off this little mob, and I actually saved Gorechi from somebody had knocked knocks them down and was trying to beat them up. I pulled the guy off of it.
Yeah, and so yeah, I feel like I owe you a debt, an eternal debt of gratitude for that. And yeah, I don't know, maybe like Goreki's, trying to bring sort of Zava into this kind of artistic community. Like, does Zava have like any kind of like underlying kind of artistic tendencies that he would like to kind of sort of set free?
I think he's a graffiti artist.
Cool. I like that. Also, I just like in the spirit of that. I thought also like in what ways is Zara working currently to expose the hypocrisy?
Yeah, I think that's it. Is through graffiti.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So it's yeah, cool street art. I like that.
Yeah, I quite like the idea that like maybe like Goreki, like he has like a small dingy little kind of like hidden away performance space, like an artist kind of club, and maybe he's like he's commissioned like Zava to decorate it like with all of his graffiti. That might be nice. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then lastly, what kind of relationship does Goreki have with Tessa?
Well, they both have like a connection of sort of like a sort of non-conventional sort of sexuality. So I was thinking maybe Goreki could have become involved with this religion in some way, just like on the fringes that Tessa practices.
Yeah, maybe like Tessa tells him about like prayers or parables as sort of inspiration. It's like, yeah, maybe this will spark some sort of art that might help spread this religion around.
Yeah. I quite like the idea though that Goreki is quite hesitant and a bit like suspicious about this, because all he knows of religion is like the official sort of monolithic religion. So anything that's kind of that he sees as religion, he's instantly distrustful of. So so maybe he's right on the fringes right now, and he's you're trying to sort of convince him that no, this is not the religion that you know.
Yeah, I like that. Just like,
not all religions are the same, that kind of thing. Yeah, I quite like that. So maybe he's attended like one kind of meeting of this religion.
Yeah. And kind of Tessa sees him as someone who can help them in a way, but also someone who might benefit from what she's teaching.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
Nice. And as you have seen, the last thing you need to do is to put some values into your element dice. So pretty much how this game works is there's two kinds of like actions where you need to roll dice. There is the elements action, which is pretty much just doing normal things that where there is a conflict. So if you have the game text open, you'll see on the last page there is like a list of a lot of like things that falls under each of the element alignments. And when you do like the regular kind of actions, you can use dice from any of the pools. And if you see on the right side of the character keeper, there should be a table or somewhere in here. Let's see. There it is. It's under the characters. You see how the system works is pretty much you can use when you say what action you want to do. You see, okay, so which element does it fall under? You can use dice from any of the pools, but you see the numbers that get success under each element. So, for example, for on the strike or the fire element, you get the successes numbers is 1, 2, 3, and 11, 12, 13. So it is beneficial to use a D4 there because there's 3/4 chance. But you can use all the D20 as well. So yeah, it will make more sense when we play. But for the bendy elements, that's kind of like it's magic pretty much. You can use it to do supernatural things, and you can only use the dice from that element to do that. And when you roll, you roll the dice twice, and if you get one failure, the dice becomes dead, so you can't use it anymore. But if you have 2 successes, you can keep using the same dice. If there's no successes, you'll fail, but you also lose dice, I think. Yeah, it's a little complicated, this system, but I think it will make more sense when you get into play. But basically, like that's how it works. If there's any questions when we do actions, I'll answer them when we get there. But like just to get a sense of how you use the dice pools, I think the most important thing is the part of that you can build dice pools from your dice. You can do any kind of action even if you have if you haven't any dice in that element. So yeah, that's pretty much like how the things work.
Quite funnily, Mikhail, it reminds me a little bit of the dice mechanic from Don't Rest Your Head with like the exhaustion and the madness talent things we were playing yesterday. Yeah,
no, it's completely similar now. There is also a way that you can refresh dice, but since this is a one shot, I don't think that will be necessary. So of course this is a game actually that is made for campaign play. So in our game we will probably it will be a pilot of a series just to get you like a taste of the game, and hopefully it will be we'll find a satisfactory place to end. But we'll be done by 9, so we have about 2 hours of playtime. So I think is there any questions like immediately now? Because if not, I think we'll catch a little break. Let's say until well, it's going to be 7 o'clock here, but whatever o'clock it is where you are, that's 00. In 12 minutes time, and we'll start play. Okay.
Cool. See you in a bit. Bye bye.
Yeah, so I think before we start, I'll just like paint a little picture. I think like this place we are, it's a like it's a huge metropolis. It's the biggest city of the Republic. It's I imagine the aesthetic being actually like like it's a warm country. I imagine. I imagine it being like a lot of the center is very like modern with skyscrapers, glass buildings, and such. And as you go out, it gets more and more like let's say old. I think residential area is mostly like these kind of colorful buildings made out of like concrete buildings. I don't know. Like I'm imagining like Southern European, maybe something like that. Like small buildings with like red roof tiles. I'm taking a little bit from like this. Since it is in a republic, I'm taking stealing some of the Greek aesthetics, I think. And then like on the outside, there's probably like small like slum areas with old rundown buildings, and like very small streets, very busy. I'm imagining like a lot of scooters and dust, that kind of thing. Yeah. So what about? I think I'm gonna say that you're all going to this like the art place from Gorecki. You seem to be. I think it's like it's a warm day. You're going down this alley, which goes like a little downwards. It's like down from like a hill or something. And I think you see the building that this place is in down the street. How does it look, Gorecki? This building?
So is this the place where Gorecki has the performance space? Is this what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I've given it a name. He's called it the Oasis Vauxhall. And it's like it's on like I imagine it's like the front of the place is like a takeaway, a local takeaway restaurant. And you have to like kind of go down the back alley, kind of like behind it, and then there's like a metal kind of door like around the back of this takeaway restaurant, and then that kind of like opens up and like goes down into this basement like underneath the restaurant, and that's where the Oasis is.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Tessa, how can you see from where you're standing now that things are not normal down there in the Oasis?
As in inside the Oasis?
I mean, you're going down the street now, so you don't. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Where in the place is it?
Oh, so we're just going down the street towards the Oasis.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the street is empty. I think it's really quiet for some reason. Like not even.
Yeah,
like,
and this is quite a bustling street.
yeah. It's like a big filter. It's been thrown over the area. Can't even hear voices or scooters. It's weird.
Yeah, and I think you. I think Sava, you notice the smell. It's like it itches a little in your throat. I think you are probably. I think you seem like the one of you that has probably been in contact with tear gas before, and it's like it's that. Like it's a very small paint, but you can feel like the small pitching. You know what it is. You don't forget.
Right, right. So I quietly tell the others tear gas. There's been trouble here.
And like Gorecki is gonna, oh my god, like jump sort of reaction, like thought, oh, they've not raided the place again. No, and he's gonna like break into like a run like towards the oasis.
I grab him and hold him back. No. Be careful. If there's anybody still in there, we don't want to rush in. And if there's not, there's no hurry.
But that's my oasis. That
means there's no reason to do things rashly. Like
yeah, we'll check it out, but just don't rush. This is no time to be reckless.
But that's my friends are going to be in there.
You won't do them any good if you rush in and get caught up in the trap. In any trap that's laid there.
This was a couple of hours ago. There's just a trace of tear gas left. Whatever happened a few seconds won't make any difference.
But there might be my friends. They might be hurt down there.
Okay.
You saw what happened.
I mean, and I've been walking as we have this discussion. I'm just holding him to keep him from rushing, and I'm keeping.
I'll say like Zava,
okay.
you know.
Okay.
You saw it.
Okay.
You saved me.
Hold on. Be quiet. If there's anybody in there, we don't want to tip them off. I'll go ahead. I'll check it out. I'll signal you.
Okay,
and like I know it's safe.
Gorecki is like obviously like really kind of not happy with this, but he like defers to your, to your kind of wisdom on this, and you can tell that he's really like jerky and kind of oh my god, like really anxious.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I sort of hand him over to Tessa to make sure that she's got a grip on him before I let go.
Yeah.
And
I'm gripping his shoulders.
Right. Like, right. And I'm moving forward. I'm sticking to the shadows. I've got a lot of experience sneaking around and not being noticed.
Mm-hmm. Who in there are you especially worried about? Not because they're your friend, because they can compromise you, Gorecki.
Well, maybe it's the oh. I mean, does it have to be personal? Can it be like all my fucking shit, like all my like documents and stuff are like in there, like linking me to the place?
Yeah, it can be.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe I've like left my laptop in there, like it's got like all my shit on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I think as Sava sneaks towards the place, I think actually like you find that it is empty, so it's not necessary to roll anything here. But you come in and you see like there's definitely like in the enclosed floor the gets left, and you have to like take up your shirt over your face a little bit to not start coughing, and you see like there is nothing there. It seems like very clean, immaculate, and you see like the walls, they are all white, newly painted, and nobody's there.
Okay, I'm going to back off. I go back to the others and I report what's happened.
How can the walls be white? Like you just finished that mural you painted in there, like just last week, Zava. Like all your work, all your art, and they've whitewashed it.
That's the fucking point, isn't it? They whitewash everything.
But this was meant to be the oasis. This is our place, like our away from all of that shit. This is where we could plant seeds and watch them grow, and they've just fucking pissed all over it.
That's what they do.
Oh my god!
I mean, they aren't going to paint people's apartments. They aren't going to put paint where it would do any good. The only thing they use paint for is to wipe out the past, to wipe out the truth.
Yeah, I think like you get the message on your beloved, and it's like pings up at all of your tweets at the same time, and it's, there's like a reading about like a terrorist attack in this area where you've been multiple terrorist false messages found. The heretics were captured and are interrogated by the truth watchers, truth media.
Oh my god! So they're talking about us. That's my friends. They've arrested. Oh my god! I left my fucking laptop in there.
Fuck them. Well, gotta get that back. I mean, they can't. You got a password on it, right? But they're gonna break that sooner or later.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got a password, but yeah, I mean, they can do anything. They can pry into every corner of our lives.
Well, you got your mailing list on there, don't you? The people you send notices to for all your shows. They get that. They've got a list of everybody who's ever been to one of your shows.
Oh my god, you're right. They'll have names, email addresses, phone numbers of basically everyone who's ever shown any interest in the counterculture in this city. Yeah. Fuck, we need to get that laptop back.
Should we send a warning to those people then? Anyone who they haven't snatched up yet? We can't be the only ones left out there.
I mean, Greg, do you have a backup?
Yeah, sure. I've got one here on my beloved.
I thought they can't fucking track those.
Cool. So I think as you like have this conversation, I think you see there's like you hear voices behind you, and you see also on the other side of the street there's two guards coming. How is the Truth Seekers uniform? How do they look?
I quite like the idea of like carrying through the sort of pristine sort of white sort of theme. So yeah, I imagine like their uniform is like all sort of pristine kind of crisp kind of white clothing.
Yeah, sure. I think I like it. They wear like this kind of I think it is this kind of like toga thing actually. Like it's a bit ancient. I think this is like a kind of glorifying the past history of this particular tradition. I think they're actually like it is actually like this kind of toga thing, except it's like more modern. So it's just like the top, and they have like this band over, like on the toga, and then just like white pants.
And underneath the white toga, they all wear sort of white turtlenecks, kind of like right up their neck.
Yeah. Turtlenecks always good for oppressors. Cool. So, yeah, what do you do?
How many guards are there?
I mean, you don't see the people behind you, but in front of you there's two, and you hear some voices behind you as well.
Okay. I kind of step forward and like, I'm a clerk from the University of Light. I was sent here to document the cleansing of false truth here. These are my two bodyguards.
Yeah, cool. I think this is definitely like a role in here. Let's see.
That'd be a void.
The guy greets you. Looks a little surprised. Like behind you, I think there's three people. One of them has officers or like a higher ranking signal, which is like a I think it's like a leaf, like a golden leaf that that clasps his like a band he has around his upper body. And from the University of Truth. I wasn't notified about that, but let me just look at my beloved here. What's your name?
It's Tessa.
Oh, Tessa. Right. Let's he thought like looking into his beloved. I think let's see. I think you are. What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to avoid attention, or do you want to go in? What is your?
I'm trying to avoid it at the moment.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
So you can roll on the air table.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Roll a D8. Yeah. So it's a D8, right?
Yeah. You can use other dice as well if you want to.
I'll just roll one.
Yeah, okay. Find
Hold on. Roll. First roll. And that's an 8.
Yeah. So let's see on the table here. Be sure. My Google Doc is lagging so bad.
Yeah. 4 through 9 is a success, so that's a success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Also roll it one more time to see if you fail on the second one, because then you lose the die.
Okay.
But you succeed either way.
Okay. It's a 4.
Yeah, a success as well. So you keep the die.
Nice.
He looks up. Yeah. There's a Tessa here. Sure. What you document what you need. I'll tell my men to trouble you.
Sorry, say that again. Internet dropped there.
Yeah. I found Tessa. That seems to be okay. You just stay out of our way when we're working, and I'll tell my men not to bother you.
Oh, we were just finished up. We were just finished up here anyway. There's no bother at all. Me and my men will be on their way, and we'll present our findings to the University of Light.
Good. You walk in the light then.
Can we get in there? I was sort of whispering to Tessa, we need to get in there. I need to see if my laptop's still there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we just need to make sure that all our work, our documentation is fully up to date. We don't need. Yeah. This is me talking to the guard. We don't need. Obviously, we don't need any slip-ups or anything misplaced. Otherwise, the university will have not anyone's heads who deter their way. So, if you would give us 5 minutes.
He like sighs and I think like there's like this a little bit of like this rivalry between the university and the Truth Media, because yeah, I mean, it's about information, right? Both of them, and he's like, well, okay, well, 3 minutes.
That's all we need. Thank you for your assistance. And I bow and kind of lead the way into the oasis.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
How does it look in there, Goreki? Like, except that now the walls are white.
It basically, you know, it looks just like what it used to be, which was just like the storeroom like underneath the restaurant. And there's this really small stage like area kind of built in the corner. And then there's some chairs and tables like around the outside of the room. And maybe there was like a little kind of makeshift kind of bar kind of built in the corner as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was all covered in like sort of graffiti and art all over the walls before. It's a really like welcoming kind of space, and now it looks really cold and clinical. And yeah, Gorecki, like as he sees it for the first time, he kind of stops and his kind of mouth kind of like hangs open. And you can see like the beginning of like a tear like kind of forming in his eyes, and he quickly like brushes it away. He's like, "Come on, we need to find that laptop."
Yeah, where do you usually keep it?
I normally stash it like underneath the bar, because that's what I do. Like Gorecki quite often, like when he's not performing, he like works the bar at this club. So yeah, I normally sort of have it stashed like on a shelf, like with it, you know, underneath the bar, like where all the sort of takings are kept and stuff.
Yeah. I think you find you do find the laptop there, but it's like it's covered with let's see. I think it's like it is. They're not. They put some like bottles in front of it or something, and then there's like a note on it from the person who like usually like runs the bar. That says like "fuck you, Gorecki. You just need to keep more on the low." And I think we cut the scene there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will do some like what would the next thing that Tessa would do be?
As in her day to day, after this, or just straight after this?
Yeah, would you meet? Like, is this? I'm thinking like of what would be a good thing to frame for the next scene. Would you meet up somewhere afterwards, maybe? Because
after where? Sorry.
After this.
I was gonna say like maybe at the back of the soup kitchen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd quite like to see sort of Tessa in her kind of environment with her kind of colleagues from like her faith. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I think it'll be at the soup kitchen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like very blatant. It's more like each time they give a meal, it's always a bit of a conversation. People at the soup kitchen, they're not like robotically like, oh no, here's your soup and you go at the bench. They do try to talk to each individual who needs it there.
Mm-hmm. Who is the person that you have been keeping an eye on in the soup kitchen? Who you might think knows more truth than they are willing to tell you at the moment?
There's a young girl, kind of teenager named Maria, and Tessa kind of suspects that herself or her family used to be citizens, but they've been turfed out, and Tessa kind of wants to. Tessa kind of wants to know, like, what would it take to not become a citizen? As in, people who were citizens before are suddenly tossed out. Like that tells her that something's changing in the Republic's thinking as to who to be a citizen, who isn't.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I like that. I definitely like see Sarah being there also. Is like he is a regular in the soup kitchen. Has Goreki ever been there?
No, but Goreki will come along. He will be there for the first time. So still clutching his laptop like under his arm.
Cool. So I imagine this soup kitchen is pretty full with people. How does it look in there, Tessa? You're muted.
Oh, I think it used to be kind of like a school setting, but funds to run a school ran out because people figured people need to live rather than to stay alive rather than learn things. So it's kind of like I think it used to be like varnished wood and whatnot, but now it's all a bit creaky, and there's a lot of like just fluorescent lighting. It's been strung up. It's a lot of benches, and yeah, there's a serving area at the back, but you can tell it used to be something nicer, like much nicer. There might be some desks piled up in a corner.
What about this place? What the ambience of this place makes it stand out from places where the citizens are in the majority, Sarva?
I think people are just more relaxed here. Outside, everybody is sort of constantly just a little vigilant. They're aware of every citizen around them. They're always keeping an eye open for somebody who might attack them or report them or just be a danger to them. And in here, there's sort of a feeling that they're safe.
Yeah, I think it's like it's also like a very interesting mix of people. Like in the inner city, it is very much like people are very much look the same, both in terms of like how they dress, skin color. I mean, it's very much like homogenic, and here it's like full with people, and it's also like people are smiling and talking together, and it is like this kind of like free space almost a little bit. Like even though you always see someone look a little worried to the entrance, like they are worried about someone discovering them, feeling included in the society in a way. And as you stand behind the pots, getting out food to the people, and Tessa, I think, and there's like this girl. What's her name? What was her name?
Maria.
Maria. She comes up to you. I think she has she's like quite like has very like leather brown skin, has like short curly hair on top, and then very short on the sides. Well, actually, she was well, if she was a woman, then she can't have been a citizen from the start, I guess. But her family Okay, so she also. Well, I guess her family could have been.
Yeah. Like,
And
did we decide exactly like what the did we just decide like women just can't be citizens, but maybe like certain women or were just folded to part of citizens' families, and maybe her father or a figure who's related to her turfed her and her mother out.
yeah, sure. Yeah, so her. I think you will say it's her father. Is he still a citizen?
Actually, no. I think it'll be more interesting if the entire family has
Yeah.
been turfed out. So now her father have to deal with not being a citizen anymore, and maybe he's still in the halfway point of realizing that this system is fucked up beyond belief, but he's not there yet.
Yeah. She walks up to you and says, "Good day, Tessa. It's good to see you. It seems like the light has shone on you."
Maria, my dear, it's always good to see you. And Tessa kind of like already has her usual meal prepared. It's probably just soup and a sandwich and a drink. How have you been? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Well, my father still doesn't go out of his room, but I don't know. He's at least eating.
That's good. That is improvement, definitely. And sorry, I'm thinking. So yeah, sorry, I'm thinking right now. And have you thought of bringing him here? Would that be like the final step?
Yes. I've told him about this place, and I told him about you, Tessa. He refuses to listen, though he's still obsessed with this. This rules. I don't know.
What about yourself? I mean, you've tasted life as a citizen. Are you still looking for that life?
I think she looks down in her bowl of soup and says, "I'm keeping the other waiting. That's your friends, right? At the table."
Yeah, they're my friends, but they know they take care of themselves. Like this time, for now, my time is with you, and I think I've mentioned it before, but bears repeating. Look, if there's anything you'd want to lay on or just speak to myself, like that's my job here, to hear people's woes and their concerns.
Yeah. So, what is your intention here? Because it feels like you're angling for getting some information about out of her, right?
I think that's like they'll call me 60-40, I guess. I think Tessa does generally care, and doesn't really want this girl to suffer and whatnot. But at the same time, he's kind of curious. Yeah, what got them kicked out?
Yeah, I think she says, my father, he used to be a professor, and I don't know why things turned out the way they did, but I think he found something.
He found something that contradicted what history is, didn't he?
I think she looks down at the bowl of soup again, and says, "I can't say. He won't talk so much about it, but
That's fine. It's fine. Just tell him that it's not his fault, that there's more than one truth out there, and it's not his fault that he found it. It's only the fault of people who believe in one vision and one truth that supersedes everything else. And it's not his fault for finding out alternatives, you know.
She nods. I think meanwhile, over at the table with Sarah and Gorecki, there's a lively conversation going about the people who went away from the terrorist attack, where they went. There's like rumors that they have been that they are going to be. I think there's like this. I don't think there's like a. I think pretty much like the punishment for like severe crimes is getting deported. Like that they send you to like this prison colony or something like that. And I think like there's someone talking about. Yeah, so I heard they're going directly to the island. Well, too bad. Where's night?
So what? They're just going to get deported. They're just going to get turfed out of their society, ripped away from their families, and this republic is barbaric. It's like how can people stand for this? We need to do something.
I think it's this woman who I think you might know her, Sarva. She grew up in your neighborhood. She says, well, I mean, I heard that they don't tell much about what's outside of this country either. Like, where would we go? They have all the power. What can we do? They have weapons. We have stones.
Yeah, we have voices. We have voices that can be heard. We need to protest against this. For too long, people just sit back and allow the Republic to crush them down. We need to make our voices heard. I say we organize a protest.
Yeah, and I think already before you say that, there's people looking at each other like worriedly. And there's like, when you say protest, there's already like a few people leaving the table. But this sounds like a role.
Yeah, I'm trying to rile up the crowd and get them to dissent, to like not sit in silence and take it anymore.
Yeah, and I think this is a more difficult task than just one success. I think you need let's say 2. But also, what I didn't say is that it's also possible to help here. So Gorecki could, Sarva could also help you if they had do it. Like you can do it.
Okay. So I think it would probably be. Would it be like a fire kind of role, like for me, like a strike? Do you think?
Yeah, it could either be a strike or maybe like even a build courage or something like that. It could be more literal.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, build probably, isn't it? Backed up by fire. Okay, so I'm gonna roll. Can I roll 2 dice then here? So I need.
You can roll as many dice as you want from the dice pool that you have. You don't have to use dice from the build pool if you want.
All right. Well,
But
I'll
keep
use
in mind
one.
if you have a. Towards Steven.
I was just saying I'll roll 1d6 to help.
How are you helping?
I'm just verbally providing encouragement. He's right. We need to act.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll 2 of my air dice, which is a D8.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get a 5 and a 6 on mine, and yeah, those are both successes.
I rolled a 6 and a 7, so that's 1 success.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, you roll them twice.
Okay. So that's 2 failures on the second roll.
Okay, so that die you lose.
Well, both of them. Yeah.
But you have a success, and
Yeah.
also so there's 2 successes in combination. So I think how this looks is like people start like what is like the main message you're saying to them? Like what are you going to protest against?
I'm going to protest. We need to rise up and protest against this inhumane sort of deportation. So I suggest that we head straight to the deportation kind of office of the is it Truth Media would probably be dealing with this, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
So I think like people, it's like, yeah, deportation is inhumane. I mean, we are as much right to be here as they do. And people like get pretty like riled up. And I think even you see like Maria, she's like smiling to you, and like Tessa and with her like fist bumping like with the crowd. And like the I think like the atmosphere in the probably like and you go out and as you walk to this office, more people who are actually joining you, at least in the first part. And as you come there, like how does the deportation office look, Sarah?
It's like a white marble building with columns, and there are 2 statues. There's one statue. There's one statue with outstretched arms and a welcoming gesture, and the other statue is holding a sword, which is raised to strike.
Yeah, cool. And also, I'm going to add a column and a move for the Truth Media. The move is punish transgressors with deportation.
Yep.
And I think let's see. I think the pillar of that. I think it's like actually like it's a train where they leave when they leave for the colony. It's like that's like the symbol of it's the artifact of the this so the trains where they leave.
Yeah, I quite like. I got this idea like there's this kind of train sort of platform thing where they deport people, and maybe they have like they sort of parade the transgressors out like in front of like crowds before they get on the train. You know, and they call out their name and say what they're accused of, and then load them on the train, and like the crowd kind of cheers or something like that with each person that gets deported.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this should be a gatekeeper's move instead of the Truth Media, because they seem more like the enforcement arm to me.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah. Cool. So I think that you march up to this like building, and you see like the statues in this huge, like quite majestic building, and I think there is. I'm imagining like this symbol of the Truth Keepers to be like a little ironic in this way. It's like a fist raised in like a circle on like the top of the building, and I think you see like there's quite a lot of these guards in uniform, and there's like more and more like they're obviously a little surprised by this. So there's like some like coming occasion like out of entrances trying to joining their comrades in front of the building, while the whole plaza like fills up with people. What are they chanting as they stand on the plaza?
Who is chanting?
The people demonstrating.
Rights for all, rights for all, rights for all.
Cool. Yeah, I think that the people, the guards, seem a little uncoordinated at first. Like you have a small window of opportunity here because I mean you've been to demonstrations before. This is not the first time there's been a demonstration, and there's usually quite a pretty violent crackdown on these kinds of things. But you seem to have caught them by surprise, because I mean this was not planned and they didn't pick it up anywhere. So there's like a small window now where there's confusion. What do you do?
Gurecki, he's got his like mobile PA system kind of strapped onto his back. Yeah, he's got this kind of little Bluetooth headset thing that kind of like broadcasts his voice like out of this PA system, and he kind of pushes his way through the crowd like right to the front. And he like addresses the crowd, and he's like, yeah, rights for all, rights for all. Our voice must rise up and be heard. We must not let the Republic deport these innocent people. All they wish is for freedom of expression. And then he starts singing into this microphone, singing this song from his mother and father's like home country, which is like a song of dissent and protest. And he's trying to rile up the crowd to like storm the platform and start a riot, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you see like there's like this iron gate like fence around this building, probably. I mean, even that it's the gatekeeper's territory, and I think you see like there's soldiers like with guns, and they look a little nervous. Like it's it's a very like tense situation because there's a lot of people here, and you see I think you see your brother Serva Niva like coming up to the gate, like talking to the soldier standing there. But I think first we need let's have a roll from for getting the people. Well, I don't think you really need that. They're actually already riled up. I mean, they're there. They are protesting already, I think.
Yeah, but I want to like push it into like a violent riot, basically.
Okay,
like
okay. Yeah, then you need to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use my armaments here. I'm gonna use the armament of like my mother's voice. So I'm like singing like in this song that she taught me as a child. And I'm also going to be using my mobile PA system, which is my other armament. Or can you only use one? Oh, you can only benefit from one armament per action, it says. So I'll be using the PA system.
Yeah. But your intention here is to storm this building, or
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to be using. I'm going to use 2 of my fire dice.
Yeah, this is fire for sure.
And I'm going to be using the armament. So does that mean you get to choose what kind of dice size you roll when you do an armament?
Yes.
Yeah, roll an additional dice, whatever you like. So I'm going to roll 4 fire dice. No, 3. Sorry, 3 fire dice.
Yeah, I think to successfully do this, you need. This is a pretty difficult task. I think it's you need 3 successes to do this.
Okay. Ooh, 3. So I'm also going to roll one of my avoid dice as well. Then I've got 1 left.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, here we go.
Good luck.
Thank you. I think I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled. What's that? 1, 2. Yeah, 3 successes, and one of the fire dice was a failure.
Cool. So roll all of the dice again and see if you get successes on them. What you need to be look out for is that if you don't get a success, you lose the die.
Isn't that? I just going through the rules section. Sorry to be a bit of a rules lawyer here, but apparently it says you only have to do that re-roll if you're bending the elements.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
If you're doing if you're doing a normal elemental action. If it's a success, it's a success. If it's a failure, then it dies straight away.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Cool.
So I lose one of them.
Yeah. Fine. Cool. Nice. That makes sense. So yeah, but you got the successes.
Sorry.
And I think like you see, I imagine this being like this kind of people are like literally like climbing over the fences, and you see like these soldiers, like you see as you see people the mass like storming over the fences, and you see like that they're also only just like, I mean, they're young soldiers, they haven't been in a situation like this before, and they're almost like panicking a little bit. There's no coordinated leadership going on right now, and you see like the people are like storming into the building, and the soldiers are just like dispersing into the building as well.
Yeah, like Gorecki will be like one of the first people like to climb over this fence, be like kind of like leading the charge.
Yeah, I think you see you see Niva. He's standing like by the gates as the first ones climb over. Sarva, what do you do?
I'm going to try to throw paint at him. I'm going to try to spatter him with paint.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what is your intention by doing that?
I want to embarrass him. I want to damage his prestige, and so I think that's a strike action.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll use a fire die, and well, one of my armaments is this shadow cloak, which I see as sort of being a camouflage thing. So I think I can use that as it sort of helps me get close without being seen.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what difficulty is this?
I don't think this is so difficult actually, because the situation is very chaotic. I think the difficulty of it is to get there very quickly, because you have to get through all the crowds. So I think maybe like 2.
Okay. I'm trying. Yeah, I'll just use the two fire dice, the armament and the.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's 2 successes.
Nice. You're rolling like champs today. So tell me how this looks as you what kind of color are you declaring over him, pouring over him?
I think it's red, like the red, like blood, and the gatekeepers, they wear this gold uniform, and then not gold, this black uniform with this gold logo, like a key on the right breast, over the heart. So yeah. So I just hurl this packet of paint, and it splatters on his uniform. So there's a splotch of red all over his side, and there are like a few drops like blood on the gold key.
Yeah,
Nice,
I think. Yeah, I think actually. Yeah, what do you do, Tessa?
Thing is, Tessa's not a fighter, so I think she's at the back, still kind of like she sees that the right has broken through, and she's kind of like thinking way ahead. So I think she's still back at the soup kitchen, like, all right, there's gonna be like a flood of refugees or people.
Can I ask a question of Tessa? Like, how does this make her feel? Like seeing this sort of protest like dissolve into like violence and kind of action. Does she condone that? Or what?
I think she's seen enough the Republic to know that violence is needed. Like, she works at the university. That's not and she's seen people try to convince, like, no, we can reform the system from the inside, it'll be all good. But she herself wouldn't partake in it. Like, that's why I didn't take any fire dice. She's not a fighter. It's very much like, no, she'll care for whoever's wounded. Yeah,
and I think actually, like, we cut back to like there's a small time skip. I don't think, like, is there anything more that you'd like to accomplish in the scene, Gorecki?
No, I just want to I want to sort of free as many of these deportees like as possible, like in the chaos.
Yeah, I think that's you do that. Like, I think everyone gets out, and I think, like, we cut back to the soup kitchen, where you see, like, there's definitely, like, wounded people, but there's not a lot. I think, like, it's like later at evening you see, like, a few people with some bandages over their head and stuff, or probably like more like getting trampled than anything. And there's like this buoyant mood in the soup kitchen, and people are almost like celebrating. And I think you see on the you don't hear like anything on the what do you hear on the Beloved actually, Sarah? What is the way the government covers this up? Tries to.
I think the government says that the deportations were carried out. I don't think they acknowledge the riot at all. So they're talking about.
I have an idea, actually, if you're into this. Maybe, like, instead of just denying there's a riot, they actually, like, reverse it and say there was, like, a record turnout to, like, see off the deportees.
Right. Yes. And they say, we are listening to your concerns, citizens, and we will step up the expulsion of corrupt and dangerous elements within our society for too long these foreigners and deviants have polluted our fair land. Yeah, and they're just ramping up the rhetoric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think as that message like comes over the beloved, I think you see one guy like holding up like a photo of your brother with the paint all over him, and he says, "This is going on all the walls in the slums." And like Captain Neva embracing the record turnout for deportation. What a story. And I think like we cut the scene there, and I've given the gatekeepers 2 shock. I think the institution is definitely like under threat. They both got breached with the deportees and lost the deportees, and also their guildmaster was humiliated.
So we need to sort of shake them 2 more times, and we can change or destroy the institution. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. We've got a target.
We do. Let's have a 5-minute bio break.
Cool.
Be back at let's say 10 over, and we'll go into the last hour. So let's see if we can break the gatekeepers down.
Cool. See you soon.
Yeah.
See you.
Ooh. Gotta admit, when I first skimmed through like the rules for this, I saw like the thing about like bending elements. And I thought it was going to be a bit like kind of like the Avatar thing, like the like we'd be like sort of throwing sort of snow balls everywhere and like summoning
That could still
typhoon
happen.
powers.
We haven't bent any elements yet. That could still happen.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a part of the system, but we haven't been engaging with that part of the system. We've been engaging with the world building mechanics.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty high risk, high reward kind of thing, it seems. Because it's also, you have a double probability of losing a dice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's probably passed. There's been some time that has passed, like maybe a week or so, since the incident at the gatekeepers, the deportation containment facility where they keep the prisoners and stuff. And there has been definitely been some roundups of people after, but just like just a few, and they don't seem to be really. I mean, there were so many there. They can't really. It's difficult for them to really do anything about it. Nice thing about protesting in masses. So and I think you meet up at the Oasis again. Is this the first time you've seen each other since then?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think I've been at the Oasis fairly regularly, repainting it. So we've probably seen each other a bit.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that was my next question. How does it look now? So I guess that answered the question.
Yeah.
What is like the main message of the content that's on the walls now? How does it look? How does it motivate activism?
I think it's a mural showing all the different types of minorities. It's I mean, different colors, different sexualities, people with disabilities, and just walking down the street in broad daylight as if they have the right to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's been someone who has like put up pictures, like Polaroids or something of your brother with like the red paint standing on like street corners instead of the where the guards usually stand. So you're there. I think it's late at night. It's been a hot day. It's like this. It's pretty humid. So a lot of people have come in to cool down in the Oasis, which is like, I mean, it's a big stone building, so it's it's more cold than outside. And there's been more people here, like maybe not the first days after the rally, but steadily they've been coming in, more and more of them. What are you? How do you see a change in the bravery of the people living here since last week, Tessa, as you walk towards the Oasis?
I think at the start of the session when it was all really quiet, yeah, that's not really the case anymore. And even before, when the Oasis shut down, the voices are just livelier, and you can almost hear like there's a musical quality to the noise around the area of the oasis. It feels colorful. Not that it looks colorful, but like, yeah, there's like just a bit more, not smiling faces, but like when people are walking around, bit of a jig to their step.
Yeah, I think as you come in, you see Sarva like putting the last spray on one of one of the murals there, and yeah, and you see Goreki. What are you doing, Goreki?
Goreki is like sort of standing behind Zava and just like applauding like wildly. Like, see, this is what we can do when we unite as one. Everyone, this is what we can do. This is what we can become when our voices are heard. And I start chanting like Zava's name. I'll be like, Zava, Zava, Zava. And the whole crowd start like chanting along.
Yeah. I think yeah, people they chant, and then after a while, people come down, and you see people like going, looking at the murals, talking to each other, and I mean, there's like a buzz in the crowd talking about how they actually managed to free those people. I mean, they're here. Those people work here. They're still here now. I mean, they're behind the bar, serving food, and it's like this. It's a pretty like nice ambience. You see Tessa coming in. What do you do?
Who's that directed to? All of us, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Goreki and Sarva, since they're already there.
Yeah, I'm walking up to them anyway. And I think I say like, well, this place has seen better days.
Yeah, but there's so much energy here. I'm looking forward to the show. I think everybody needs to blow off some steam.
Yeah. So what's the show?
Ooh, what's the show? Yeah, what's the show? I'll talk about something later.
Ooh, what is it? It's kind of I like, yeah, it's Goreki's like organized like a kind of like a like almost like a cabaret kind of performance, a show, where dancers are like coming out like dressed in sort of caricature costumes of the gatekeepers and the truth media people, and they're sort of all doing sort of there's like show like song and dance numbers, like kind of sending up the institutions, and then the big finale is where like Goreki goes around and hands like sort of tins of like kind of red buckets of red paint to like all the crowd, and like at the finale of the big number, like everyone like goes "Whoa," and like chucks all the red paint like over all the dancers like on stage.
Nice. I think yeah, people cheer and laugh at that.
And like yeah, Goreki's gonna like jump up onto the stage and like grab the microphone as the show finishes. And it's like, I'm glad hope everyone enjoyed the show tonight. You know, it's great to see everyone here, everyone laughing and dancing and loving, and it's fun and it's great, and this is what we need. But this is just the beginning. You can see what we do when we unite and we rise up and make our voices heard. We can shake the institutions. We can, God knows, you know, if we push even harder, we might even be able to bring them down and win freedom for everyone. All we have to do is unite. And yeah, and he's trying to, you know, he's trying to get people to realize that this isn't just like a, you know, a fun sort of cabaret show. This is the beginning of a revolution, you know.
Yeah, I think is there anything you want them to do? I'm not just like seeing if there's a role here or not. I think people are quite hopeful, and I think people see that already by itself a little bit. I mean, given what just happened last week.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a mechanical role there. It's just
yeah, I
just
think
a
people
flavor.
like here, and they look to, and I think a lot of like you have gotten like a little fan club, Sarva, with this paint job you did, and there's like this. I think there's this guy coming over to you. He is has like black hair and looks kind of like a little paler than most people around here. Given that, I mean, most people that work out here work in manual labor, like shops and street carts and all that kind of thing. So he's not been so much in the sun. And I think he says, do you know that your brother is? Talking about maybe that he's going to lose his position. I mean, how great wouldn't that be?
It would be a blow to their prestige, I think, unless they're pushing him out for a more attractive puppet. He is only the public face of the gatekeepers. The real power is the men behind the scenes.
How do you think we could hurt them? I mean, we need to go for them next now that the iron's hot, right? I mean, you heard what the man said. We're making a change.
Yes. Well, yes. Well, we need to embarrass them. We need to. Whatever we do, they change the story to make them look like heroes. But if they change the story too often, then they just look like fools.
But we have
removing Neva from power will be a good first step, but we need to stay on the offensive. We need to push them so hard that they can't cover it up.
Well,
yeah.
Like Gorecki sort of joins in the conversation. He's like, before Captain Neva is disposed from his position, maybe he'd be more useful if we could turn him and recruit him to our cause, get us an inside line to the gatekeepers. Do you think that's possible, Zava? Do you think you could turn him to fight for our cause rather than for the institution?
Not while he is tied to power. He enjoys his position too much, but if he's pushed out, then yes, perhaps we could recruit him. When they have no more use for him, then he likes being the head of the movement. We could make him the head of our movement.
I kind of tap the two of you on the shoulders, like, can I talk to you privately for a quick minute?
Yeah, sure. What's on your mind, Tessa?
I may have a way. I may know something that can further embarrass the Republic, keep fanning the flame, so to speak. My friend is Soup Kitchen. Met her. Her father was kicked out of citizenry for finding out an alternative to the history that's brought out by the Republic. If I can wheedle out that information from him, and we spread that throughout the city, we can further not only just thumb their noses, but also maybe rile the people up some more. Because I think we all agree here, what a lot of people need in this Republic is an alternative. They don't want the truth that's put out by the Republic. The truth being, some people deserve more than others, and if we can find an alternative and bring them out to the people, surely they would rather have that than what the Republic's giving them.
That's a great idea, Tessa. That's a good idea, but you know, we've put up these posters, you know, embarrassing the Republic. We need to go once further. We need to spread the message further. We need to get it directly into people's lives, you know, not just some posters like on a lamppost somewhere. How about if we can get this message of the real truth into people's beloved and spread the message that way?
Well, the further we can spread this, the better. Definitely, definitely, I agree with that.
Cool. I think maybe this is a good place to end that scene, and we jump in as you do something to do that. So what is your plan here, pretty much?
Tessa's going to try to convince Maria to take her to Maria's father, so Tessa can talk to him directly.
Yeah, I think the next scene starts with you're outside Maria's house. I think it is. It's yeah. I mean, it's actually just like a shack. There's still some furniture from like the old house there, but I mean, since no one in the family is no longer a citizen, they can't hold property in the residential areas. So they lost their house, and there's like, you see, it's pretty much like this shack made out of like metal, roof things, and like random like there's a car door there, and like it's very like a makeshift, and you see, but inside you see like through holes even in the building, you see like there's like a nice sofa and a desk at least, and some stuff that they managed to get out before they got thrown out. And I think you see Maria, she's sitting outside, and I think actually like she's like whistling to a song that was at the Oasis the other night, like with her back to the wall of the building, eating like a fruit or something like that. And as she comes, she gets up and is like, oh Tessa, glad to see you. Don't see you around here often. And you were friends.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. This is highly unusual, Maria. But I need something of you. I need something specifically from your father. And you were there last week. How did you last week when we freed those refugees? And you felt something good, didn't you?
I think she looks a little like nervous at you and says, yes, but my father, he's not, let's say he's not sympathetic to your views in this case.
Then let me speak to him directly.
She like,
at least let me have that.
Draws her shoulders and say, I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt. He already hates me for even talking about revolution. I mean, you'll find him inside.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think as you walk inside, you see like this. It's like a pretty old man. He has gray hair. It used to be dark, and he has this like very like a long nice beard and very like furry eyebrows. He's sitting. I think it's like with a. I think he's actually wearing a suit, which has become increasingly dusty since it's not been washed or had been at the cleaners for 3 weeks, and then he's now living in a very dusty area. So it's clear like the same, probably like the same kind of suit he would wear to work. And he like looks up at you, like, so who is this? Who am I talking to? What are you doing here?
My name is Tessa. I'm a sister of the Church of Luminos, a faith that's long been dead, but still lives on through myself and others who care. A similar thing that's long dead lives on with yourself, I presume.
A transgressor. You must be a friend of my daughter.
Yes, Maria. I've been trying to help Maria through this different phase in her life. Trying to help her, and maybe yourself, come to terms with what's happened to your family.
Like you can see he takes like a long breath as you say that, and there's like this. I mean, I think you can see like the hurt in his eyes when you say that. It's like pretty obvious, and he says like, "Well, yes, the light hasn't shown on our family for the last couple of months. That's for sure. But I'm sure we can redeem ourselves."
Do you miss being a citizen?
He looks down on his desk and says, "Well, there's no there's no books on my desk. There is no things to explore, and nobody wants to." And I think he like bites his tongue a little bit. No one takes me seriously anymore. I don't know. It seems. Oh well. It's for the best of the Republic, I'm sure.
I'm sure you miss the Republic very deeply. But sir, do you honestly think the Republic misses you? Do you think that for all your work, all your sacrifice to the Republic, do you think that it'll weep, that it's weeping for you right now, as it's left you behind?
This sounds like a role to me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of build, probably.
Yeah, it can be build or even tend, I think.
Oh, tend. Yeah, actually, yeah, that makes more sense. Tend. That's why I took all those D20s.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna use 2 D20s, and I'm gonna use my armament, my book of prayers.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult to. Like he doesn't really want to believe it, but also he's in this situation, so it's not like it's reasonable for him to come to this conclusion as well.
Okay, so that's gonna be 3 D20s.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's a 19, a 10, and a 7. So, geez, that's only 2 successes.
Well, it's what you need.
Is that what I needed? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you just needed to. Yeah, but you lose the 7 dice.
Yeah.
So I think he almost like deflates a bit, and you see him. He sits like still in his chair for a little bit, and he says, "Well, no, they won't." I suspect my my teachings are already burnt, disposed of.
Then help me build a world where we can bring those teachings back, where your truth and mine and everyone else's can stand shoulder to shoulder instead of being forced down by one truth.
Yeah, and I think he sighs again and says, well, yeah, honestly, the truth of the Republic, it's, well, in historical terms, it's dubious, not provable, most of it.
All we need is a kernel, a spark, enough truth to get people to take up a notice.
What do you mean is specifically? What can I help you with?
I need to know what you found.
Well, it is exactly that. Our history. Well, it's not completely ours, or not even. I mean, it's ours, but we are different people. We're not one people in the Republic. I mean, they'd like you to think that, but not really. There is proof of different cultures. That we were different cultures before merging together to a greater civilization, and all this is forgotten because it's been erased and mixed up into a big hodgepodge of history that the Republic calls the correct one. And over the years, I found many proof of this, but well, they weren't conclusive until I found written sources, and well, I shouldn't have. Probably shouldn't have put them up to the committee.
I think Tessa bends down and kind of like grasps his hand in between hers. It's like, don't worry. What we're trying to do, you'll never have to regret something like that ever again. That wasn't your fault.
And I think he like nods and he says, yeah, it's not right. I don't understand why the history needs to be so conform. I mean, would we be any less great if people understand that they're different?
I think, yeah, I sigh at that. It's like, they need one truth to make their lives easier, and making their lives easier. The easier to do that is always on the backs of others, of people like you and me.
Well, what you want then is in the archives. It seems they store. I know that they store the text and evidence that support the pillars of the history of the Republic there, and I mean all the sources they cite from different places, and I mean it shows that they are different culture and they come from different cultures entirely. I mean, of course, almost no one has access there, but
Leave that to us. And Tessa kind of squeezes his hand, and she stands up. It's like, I know that was hard, but thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see each other in a better world.
he like smiles and he says, "You sound like my daughter, full of naivete." Well, I hope to see you again, nevertheless. alive, and not on a train to a colony.
Likewise. I think, yeah, that's the end of the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So where do we find our heroes next? What is our next scene here? I'm imagining. Do you want like a gathering a scene, or are we going directly into dealing with the archive? Or you're muted.
Zava, do you have a scene that you'd like to frame?
I don't have any particular ideas.
Okay. I'd like a really quick scene, actually. It's kind of like making use of the mechanics a little bit. I'd like to have a scene where I go back home to my parents' place where they work, and I'm going to be cooking them a big dinner, a big family dinner, and also like asking my father a favor, and that'll be like it's like the healing move where you can kind of heal yourself, like and get a dice back. Yeah, so I'm there. This is the first time I don't see my parents all that often because they work in these they work in these kind of manufacturing sort of factories, like they work like 18 hours a day kind of thing. And yeah, I'm cooking them like a big dinner, like a food from the homeland, that I've managed to pick up on the black market, this food. And I say to my father, I'm like, Dad, it's good to see you again. Good to see you. I'm sorry I've not been around as much as I should do to help out. But
he smiles at you, and I think he's like, I mean, you young people, you're busy. I understood. I was young once too.
Yeah, we're busy. We're busy changing the world, Dad. The Oasis is great. The Oasis is going really well. We, that's that happening down at the Gatekeepers deportation. That was us. We did that. Yes, we're rising up, Dad.
I heard that. Yeah, you must have something from your mother there, I think.
Well, yeah. If only I could sing half as well as she could. It's such a shame that she lost her voice. I used to love hearing her sing when I was young. It still inspires me to this day when I think of her voice. Dad, I want to ask you something. You work in the manufacturing plant, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have access to the beloved personal assistant manufacturing line? I heard that they build it in the same factory that you work in.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually, yeah, I do.
Would there be any way you could help me build something like you helped me build that PA system that I carry around that I absolutely love?
Well, it's going to require some of your ability.
Is there any way that we could modify the PA system so rather than just broadcasting sound, it could broadcast a signal that gets picked up by people's beloveds' handsets?
Yeah, I think he laughs at that. And what now? You just can't be heard by enough people, can you?
Spreading my voice, Dad.
And you see like his brows like go together, and he starts thinking, and he says like, well, not impossible. I think I mean, the Beloved is actually not very advanced, really. It's just one-way communication mostly. I think if you could, and he starts like talking about some technicalities. Should be possible.
Yeah.
We need
like,
some we need access to their server though.
I'm sure we can sort that out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, how's the dinner, Dad? How's it taste? I know I'm not as good as Mum, but
I mean, where do you get the spices? I haven't had these for a very long time.
It's kind of a don't ask, don't tell sort of situation. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I think he nods. Better not tell me.
Okay.
I don't want to get into trouble.
I'd like to roll. I'd like to do the sort of heal move. Sharing this moment with my father around the dinner table.
Yeah, sure.
So that's rolling. I'm going to roll my air, I think, which is a D20, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 10, which is a success. So that means I can get back one of the dice that died, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to get back one of my air dice. There we go. Cool. And that'll do for the scene there. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to have a scene like that?
No, I'm fine.
Oh my god.
Okay. Good. So you meet up back. Where do you meet up for planning this? What is the location your of choice?
I think at the Oasis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably. I'm guessing actually like it's early, pretty early, because that's when it's the least people in the Oasis. It's quiet. It's quite still a little like messy. You can smell like maybe the alcohol of like the last night or a little bit still. The floor's a little sticky. But who's there first?
I think Goreku would definitely be there if he's there like every night.
Yeah, it's been a pretty like rainy night actually. It's pretty like fresh air outside, which is nice because it's been scorching hot for a while. It's like quiet, pretty quiet outside. There's and I think you see on your Beloved, it's like a new kind of like information bit from the from the gatekeepers actually.
Mm-hmm.
And with this time, it's actually like a new person. It isn't Niva who's doing the message. And they're talking about like reinforcing the security in the city. And as you like hear the rest of that message, the two others come into the Oasis.
Hey, good to see you, everyone. Zava, have you seen the news? Looks like your golden boy brother got the sack.
About time.
Is he amenable to our cause now, you think?
I think we can push him into it. I think what we want to do is get him off the streets, and then we make a video with my face, and we say it's him, we get him in so deep that he has no other choice. He has to stick with us.
All right. And that'll strike a blow to morale, seeing a former gatekeeper just very blatantly throw the Republic under the bus.
Yeah, and I think actually we cut the scene there, and I think this is like on the next episode kind of thing, because we're coming up on the end, and I thought we might. I don't think we'll have time to do another like full scene, so I thought this was a pretty like a good trailer episode ending. So thank you for playing.
Thank you for running.
No, thank you.
So,
Yeah, I'd never even heard of the game until you posted it up.
Yeah, I heard about it a couple of months ago, and like, it's one of those games like I'm curious to try out, but because it's so obscure, there's not many like examples of it being run anywhere.
Well, we've just made one, haven't we?
Yeah.
So,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm sold on the mechanics, but I like the setting.
I tend to agree a little bit. I think it's a little more it's more complicated than it would need to be. Really, I think. Super like the premise is super cool. I think also a lot of the text is very nice of the game. That's very good, like GM instructions. The GM like how you set up things is really nice, but the like mechanics it's a little like heavy.
Yeah, it's almost like seems like they've like overthought the mechanics. Like could do with like pairing. Like I like the general idea of it, the theme of it, but it seems like it could do with like simplifying and paring down a bit. I think.
Yeah. It maybe just feels that cumbersome because there's just so much dice.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I mean, if everyone was really into the kind of the sort of setting and the theme, I'd recommend playing Misspent Youth. If you've played that before, that's a very, very similar kind of setting where it's kind of you're like the undertrodden, the downtrodden, like rising up against the establishment.
Yeah, I've seen an AP of that, and it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it, so I might put it up on the calendar eventually. Just gotta read through it first. But yeah, thanks for playing, especially to Leandro, which I haven't played with before. It was nice playing with you. Always good to have new people.
Yeah, same here. Like, I'm new to the gauntlet, so thanks very much for having me.
Oh, glad to have you.
Yeah, and it's great to meet you, Stephen and Deandre. Hope to play with you again in the future.
Yeah.
Especially if we're all kind of around the same time zone-ish, kind of.
Stephen is in the US, I think, but
Right. Yeah, I'm East Coast of the US, Washington D.C.
Okay.
This is the usual configuration of our group. My games actually, like it's two Europeans and East Coast.
Yeah. I mean, this started at noon my time, which is a perfectly good hour for me. So, all right.
Cool. Glad to play with you. I hope to
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone. See you again soon.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Bye.